What happens when we're listening to somebody talk to us? How does that information get inside of us? We're not seeing it typed out. And it's not just language mingling like theater. I think that pictures, something flattens. It's almost like the way you make a JPEG. You have your information and it goes in there somehow. And I find that by drawing people talking, I understand more clearly what it is I need to understand. It may not be what they intended to say, but when anybody's talking, especially in conversations, it's how the two people, their ideas are mingling. And what is it that I'm going to take away from this? And you have a more thorough kind of capture of it if you make a drawing of it. In the beginning, when I was first starting to do this for the New York Public Library, I would feel badly if I couldn't follow along and draw everything that was spoken. And then I thought, well, this isn't really a game of stump the doodle monkey. You know, it really is something where if they're not saying something that's understandable, I might not be able to draw it. When you're listening, you don't hear a talk as a big, major, expanding scribble. What you hear is a thought, and then another thought, and that's what led to drawing things one at a time. Well, then I thought, well, how can you teach somebody to listen like that to make it easy? Because it is easy, it is. If I can do it, you can do it. I sort of look like somebody, well, if she can do it, how hard can it be? And so, you know, I came up with exercises that say, you know, draw a cat. Just draw an object. So if I'm going to draw a cat, well, we start as a cat. And one of the things I like is that, you know, in anybody drawing any of these things, you just draw like the default view of what anybody says a cat is. Now I'm allergic to cats, so I don't really know what they look like. I mean, I haven't studied them, but I know they got paws, and I know that they're kind of like a big blur, and I know they try to get in little boxes and things, and that's pretty much what I know about cats. So that's, oh, and whiskers. Okay, so that's a cat. It's really fun when you've got a whole bunch of people drawing the same thing, because we all know the word for it, and the word sounds the same, and everybody's got a different picture, a different sense of line for what it is they're doing. Okay, that's delicious. Now let's do a sad cat. And I think that's the beginning of moving forward, having it be more expressive, because you're trying to capture somebody else being expressive, and you're adding your expressive to it, so you're amplifying the whole thing and accelerating understanding, and everybody's going to get along and there'll be world peace. It's not just about drawing, it really is about taking the word, and sometimes you're drawing something out of the word. You know, like the next exercise that I was going to go into would be, instead of having it be an object like a cat or a sandwich, you would just take any word like jealousy. All right? So let's say we even start with the word jealousy and just start to write it. And what is interesting is that while thinking about it, I've actually thought more deeply about jealousy. Like maybe somebody just said the word, but I started thinking, what does it mean? What does it look like? How does it feel? Do I feel it? Do I understand it? What does it look like? And all of that expands anybody who needs to write, that needs to understand another person, that has to argue about the gas bill. Like you're just trying to figure out, how does anybody see what it is they're saying? And how can I communicate that better? And drawing has a kind of innocence to it. People think of it as childlike, as harmless. But in fact, you're getting much more insightful really quickly while doing this exercise. And so instead of going back with drawings you might frame, you have drawings that you might better frame how it is you think. Get the kind of curiosity that's visible in a newborn's face, like what is everything? And how is it here? And how could it be different? And how could I use it? And what would be a powerful way for me to communicate something, to give somebody else that gift to communicate things more easily? It's really about creating peace by blowing up what it is you already know, so that you're not stuck. And you're not stuck thinking you've got to do it great. You just have to have a kind of passion for wanting to play. We're all ridiculous. You know, we're so serious, and that, to be able to communicate that, I think it's, you know, what we're going to work on. And I think we're going to come up with new perception labs, things you observe that you want to share or help somebody to know.